Hello and welcome to Q Mixer's Mix at Tails Happy Hour with Masa Urushido and Neal Bodenheimer. I am on behalf of Q Mixers and Tales of the Cocktail Foundation. My name is Daniela Jagaman. Q Mixers is the official mixer of Tales of the Cocktail 2021 and teamed up with Tales to select 8 industry leaders for Meet at Tales experience. That experience included 6 one-on-one meetings that each of our leaders held during the week of Tales, as well as this great Mix at Tales Happy Hour event. That this is the final concluding Mix at Tales Happy Hour, and we're so happy to have Masa Urushido, Director of Deliciousness at Katana Kitten. Hey, Masa, how are you? Love your bandana action going on.
Thank you so much for having me.
Of course.
Well, I was kind of under pressure of like, I have to wear something special. And then now, after your proper introduction, I feel like very inappropriate. And then I'm sorry if I did something.
You're not inappropriate.
Unnecessary. Well, under this, I got this little fake wig thing.
That's amazing. Well, I love that you just have all of that at your disposal.
Man. Well, I shouldn't be wearing anything at all, but yeah, thank you so much for having me, Danielle.
Of course. And we also are joined here with Neal Bodenheimer, owner, bartender, and restaurateur of Curco, and Tales of the Cocktail Foundation Board of Directors co-chair. Neal, thank you for having us, or thank you for being here and hosting both myself and you. Say hi to Neal, everybody. Peychaud's, one of your newer bars that you've opened during the pandemic here in New Orleans. So you guys will be able to hear the wonderful band that's playing at Court of Two Sisters behind us. Neal, how are you doing?
I'm doing really well. Thank you, Daniela. And I'm excited to be on this with Masa and with you. And I'm really excited that we're having Tales this year, even in the digital format, even just a little bit of community and connection really goes so far for me on a personal level. I mean, it's been a tough 18 months, and we just got done with our with a hurricane down here, and it's so nice to feel connected to the greater international bar community. So I just couldn't be more happy to be here.
I am so happy that we are at least able to join each other digitally and things like this. So cheers to that. I have my wonderful Q tonic over here in a glass. I'm going to take a sip of it. I do have one question. I've been kicking off all of these happy hours with the same question. And that question is, have you two met each other? Masa and Neal, do you guys know one another?
Well, we have met each other. I wouldn't say that we know each other extremely well, but I'm a longtime fan of Masa's, and I don't think really anybody in this business has the same level of hospitality and joy that they bring to the craft that he does. And it's just, for me, I'm just thrilled to be able to get to know Masa more and talk about some of the things that make Masa Masa. And then also, I hope he'll talk a little bit about his book too while he's on.
Really hope that Masa shares anything about
thank you so much, Neal. Too kind. Thank you so much.
All right. Well, I would like to really quickly talk about one of the things that you guys have done for this Q Mixers Meet at Tales experience for Tales of the Cocktail this year, and that is curate a Q Mixers cocktail. These cocktail kits were sent to each of the 6 individuals that were selected for the 15-minute one-on-one meetings with you all, but also anybody at home, if you are able to post to your Instagram and tag Q Mixers, either in a story or a feed post, you have the opportunity to win either Masa or Neal's cocktail kit. So I'm gonna kick off here and would love to start if Masa, you are able to give us a little bit of background on the cocktail that you selected. I'm going to share it here with the crew. So you did the Ringo Highball.
Ringo Highball. Um, well, this is a happy hour. It's kind of a casual setting, isn't it? I'm so sorry. I'm moving around so much because my phone
Right now,
died.
nobody
And,
can see you.
I have to. Okay, my phone died, and can you see me now? It's better. Is that the better height of
Yeah, you
my
look.
sitting? Um,
Yeah,
okay, so
no, you
Ringo.
look great.
Thank you. Let me bring up the bottles too, if you can see the bottles. Yeah, so Ringo highball, highball as a highball, simple. There's just some, the base spirits or base liquor in there, and then we top it off with some carbonate. So, I don't know. It's just very simple. That basically white spirits, and then top it off with the tonic. Everyone likes gin and tonic, and then the vodka. And I live in New York, and we have this local apple brandy, comes from upstate. The brand distillery is called Neversink. So they make this very lovely apple brandy. It just sip itself is like a very honest apple, and it actually I taste it like really apple, that like something we eat every day. So like it tastes very local too. And top it off with the Q elderflower tonic water. Lovely. And I like a Q because it's so you get that bubble and good carbonation. That's something, you're drinking something carbonated, expecting that it's carbonated in this bubble. So I like a Q soda, and I like a Q brand. What I added a touch bit is it's called Mirrors. It's a nutmeg liqueur. Why? It's delicious because it's created by a good friend of ours, Jim Ryan. And it is, I like Mirrors. That it just nutmeg, something used to me is that like a grated over the punch and then all the cocktails, and just really that distinct aroma that hits your nose, freshly grated nutmeg. But this is in the liquid form, in the spirit at a 40% ABV, and it's a liqueur, but it's very clean. It's got nice weight, comes from the sweetness, but it's not overly sweet at all. So if I add that, just simple enough. There's a Neversink, the apple brandy, ice, and add a touch bit of this Amir's nutmeg liqueur, and top with the Q elderflower tonic. So it's very fall. I think it's very seasonal. Not it's hot here yet, but it's very kind of, you taste the fall, and I think it's simple and delicious. And Ringo Collins, Ringo highball. So Ringo is apple in Japanese.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that. Well, thank you so much for explaining that. I think that a consistent theme when talking about a highball has been that the carbonation is key. You can't have a flat highball. One question that we were talking about earlier in the week is not only the glass, but the ice, and how that contributes to it. So I appreciate you breaking that down as well. Neal, would you like to jump in and give us a little bit of background on the cocktail that you've curated for Mixed Tales this year?
Absolutely, and certainly, it's interesting to hear Masa talk about carbonation. I mean, it's something that and I heard in a few of the other happy hours that that it got discussed as well. It's something that I probably didn't value early, enough early on in the early days of Cure, when we were using soda siphons, and now I really value it so much more, and it makes me enjoy highballs so much more. So, I want to underscore that point that you've got to have really, really, really cold bottles of Q when you're making a highball with these things, and you've got to and you've got to pick a product that's got really high carbonation. So this idea here is just, there's some flavor combinations that I always find myself drawn to. This is one of them. I love passion fruit, I love bitter, and I love grapefruit all together with a little bit of salt. This is kind of somewhere in between, like kind of a bitter, salty dog, with passion fruit. And so once again, aperitif culture, aperitif drinks. That's what I love to, drink on my own time. So it's just two things that I'm drawn to, which are, low proof session drinking and this flavor combination of grapefruit and passion fruit and hold on, I'm missing and in Campari. So but that's kind of why I put it together, and it was just kind of a no-brainer for me. I mean, I'm a big fan of Chinola, and I think I just seen Robert had been through New Orleans like just before I started working on this, so it was just fresh in my mind, and it's kind of wild how you can have a conversation and it ends up kind of making its way into your work later. So that's how we got here.
Well, I appreciate you sharing that. I actually hadn't had the Chinola until we had this experience. And I think that it's really great. I want to let everybody know at home too that both of your cocktail kits include Neal's. It includes the Chinola, and Masa's includes the Never Sink. So that's a great opportunity to try those brands to be able to win their mixed cocktails cocktail kit. I have also been starting these off with an icebreaker. So I would love to ask you both a question to get us started. That's not too deep, but also we are all here to know your answer. So if you could listen to one song on repeat, what would it be? We're not going to play it now, so.
That's a lot of pressure. Masa, you want to go first, or you want me to try and tackle this?
One song, it's hard. Not so that the Katana Kitten, that's a bar I work in. And then we have this amazing playlist curated by our general manager, Jordis. So kind of theme goes in like, the chord, and we play these classic 80s, 70s, 80s rock and rolls, and all these songs that we play. So these playlists actually I can keep listening to even on my way to work or outside of work when I hear these kind of songs that like we play. When you hear that outside of work, and it kind of takes me back to work, kind of like that. So I would say something I can keep listening to. I guess I would say Katana Kitten playlist that curated by Joris.
Well, I will say that the one thing when you read about Katana Kitten, well, there's two things that you like most often hear, and it's one about your smile, and the other is about the music that you guys play. So that makes sense that you would choose the playlist. I do want to qualify here that you don't have to listen to it like repetitively on a loop for the rest of your life. It just means like, what song do you play? And then you can be like, oh, I need to just rewind that, do it one more time. So Neal, you're up. What song is it?
Well, I mean, I think that's an interesting perspective. Certainly in the bar and restaurant business, we have to listen to the same playlists pretty consistently, over and over. And you better make sure that you like them, or else they become like your, it becomes torture every day when you go into work. I've been thinking a lot about it. We have a playlist that I love at Cure that's got a lot of the old New Orleans kind of like early rock soul stuff that like I can't listen to it enough. And it's Shirley and Lee. You've got Clarence Gave Brown. You've just got so many amazing artists and hit songs that it doesn't matter the fact that I've listened to them for almost 13 years straight. I like still love listening to them, and they're evergreen.
Yeah.
So I guess that's not one song, but that's but that's what I would listen to.
I mean, you guys kind of have the same thing going on with your answer, so it makes sense. I was thinking about this, just taking the car ride when evacuating for the hurricane, and it's like, honestly, a radio station is kind of just a playlist that you listen to over and over again. If you are listening to the same radio station day after day, they just kind of rotate the same things. And I guess it's the predecessor for us. All right, well, I would love to get into a little bit more background. Some people may or may not be familiar with both of you. So I would like to jump in and just have a little bit of background on you all and how you kind of got to where you are now. So who would like to jump in? Tell us a little bit more. Give us a couple minutes of how you got to be where you are now. All right, Neal, you go up.
Okay. God, how much time do we have here? So, you know, I was born in New Orleans, raised in New Orleans, and when I was coming up, it was 18 to drink and work in bars. Well, actually, technically, in New Orleans, you could at 18, you could be in a bar, and it wasn't illegal for you to drink, but it was illegal for someone to sell you. Wait, it wasn't illegal for someone to sell you the drink, but it was illegal for you to drink it. So that we basically made 18 years old the New Orleans drinking age. So I actually had my first bar job at 18 as a bouncer. I'm not a big guy, and I realized that we really weren't bouncers. We were actually we were just promoters because they wanted all of our 18-year-old friends to come work in the bar. So that's kind of how it started. And I always found myself kind of bouncing in and out of hospitality. I had my first restaurant job as a host at 19, working for the Brennan family at Baco, which is a long closed restaurant now. And then from there, went back to university, and then took a year off and traveled around the world. And my brother and I opened a small little restaurant in Malaysia. And he was a cook, and I was front of house. And one of us would go dive during the day during the lunch shift, and then the other would get to play beach volleyball while the other person prepped for the night shift. And then we'd come together and run this tiny little cafe. And then I moved to New York just after 9/11 and started serving tables on the Upper East Side. And I was lucky enough to have a really great mentor in Evan Clem, who came and kind of used that bar that I started working behind as a place to start to relaunch classic cocktails within the company we worked. And I bounced around New York bartending for about 6 years. And then after Katrina, I came back to New Orleans and worked on opening a version of Cure, which I had been working on in New York. And I quickly realized that I did not have the wherewithal to open my own bar in New York, but I thought I could do it in New Orleans. And it took us a few years, but we opened Cure in 2009, and since then we've kind of been very lucky to have a lot of success locally, and we're still here, and we've been fortunate enough to do a few other projects. So I feel very grateful, and I'm also thrilled that I've been able to get more involved with Tales of the Cocktail, because it does so much for my hometown and for the industry, and it's a great way for me to give my time back.
Well, thank you. I mean, that is quite a journey from being a bouncer to going diving in Malaysia, and also running a cafe, to being in New York after 9/11, and then coming back home after Katrina. You must really enjoy creating spaces for people to do both of those things after those events as well.
I mean, that's the great, that's one of the great pleasures of this business, is that we get to make experiences for people and memories for people, and we get to serve people things, and it's and to host them, and it's something that I really relish, and it's and I know Masa feels the same way. You can see it in his work, and it's it's hard right now. It's very hard because there's just the dynamics of serving people and gathering people. It's so difficult, but I know that we're all looking forward to one day when we'll get back to doing what we do in the way that we do it, in a closer way to what we did before 2020.
Masa, can you give us a little bit of background on what you were up to before opening Katana Kitten?
Of course. I moved to New York in 2008. Originally from Japan, born and raised, small town in Nagano Prefecture. This small town called Minowa, about 2 hours, 2.5 hours from Tokyo. Either you can take a train or drive. And my first restaurant job when I was 19 years old. And it just by all luck, the best thing ever happened was that I got my first job in a restaurant in the kind of the best place where I learned from basically zero, everything from these absolutely amazing mentors that I still today really look up to and then inspired by. So it is a fine dining setup restaurant. So I started as a food runner, busting all these dishes, and my day starts as I polishing silverware to setting up table. So there, later on, I get to learn about apprenticeship, bartending, classic bartending there. And I didn't go to college in Japan. I always wanted to study. I liked studying and I liked school. Moved to New York in 2008 for college, and my goal was to study hospitality management. But I didn't have a college degree, so I started as to get the associate degree from one of the community college. And meanwhile, I was working in a cafe and a little restaurant in the West Village, and then cafe was in Nolita. So for first I arrived, and again, just same how lucky I was, and just like how I started working in the, to me, it was the best restaurant to start and then learn from back in Tokyo. So when I landed in New York, his name is Paul Franich. He really helped me to start living in New York and start introducing me to people that someone like a Kenta-san and these right people to, hey, where do you want to work? What can you do? And then I was the first those years, and I was working those cafes and restaurants. And then when the time came, it was 2011. Still today, someone I get inspirations and learning from. His name is Naren Young. So he opened, him and Linden Pride, they opened this restaurant bar called Saxon Pearl in East Village. And I get to join the team, I would say like a month after they just opened. And then I worked there for 7 years. And here comes another, while I was at the Saxon Pearl, learning, and just one of the talent that the Naren has is that to kind of connect people and introduce into people that right timing, and meeting really someone like Del DeGraff to Audrey, Julie, all these absolutely amazing people, and learning, enjoying working, and I get to experience Tales of Cocktails for first time. It was 2013, I believe. And after that, I knew Greg Baum from Cocktail Kingdom and James Toom, both my business partners at Katana Kitten, for those years, working at Saxon Pro. And then come 2018 in summer, we get to open together Katana Kitten in West Village. It was July 2018, and again, just we, we are very lucky with everything, basically, the location, but of course, the most important thing is the team. So we have an absolutely amazing opening team, and amazing thing is it's still today, even after COVID, all these people, our team still here, all these staff that been working from literally day one, and great, everyone's here, and
that's that's remarkable.
Yeah,
it really is remarkable. It's incredible.
Well, cheers to that.
And yes, and still
that's wild.
Yeah, still, oh yeah, and then yeah, still everything, many things is work in progress. But like thanks to the team, really the general manager Jordis, and all the bartenders, back of the house, and support comes from Cocktail Kingdom Hospitality Group. So, you know, like lots of people involved, and even someone like Sean Kelly, she's a marketing director of the Cocktail Kingdom Hospitality in the Cocktail Kingdom. I've known someone like Sean for many years, like 10 years, and yeah, amazing. I get to work with these absolutely wonderful people, and I'm very happy.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like both of you really talked about meeting people who not only mentored you, but like just connecting with people throughout that journey of getting to where you are now. And of course, Tales of the Cocktail has been involved in that. But what is that? We've been talking this week about like being able to organically make those connections, or like what's in the sauce of that ingredient of like really being able to find those people. How do you put yourself out there? And I'd love to know kind of what your tips are to either making those introductions or being in the spaces that kind of allow that connection to happen.
I guess I'll go ahead with this. You know, I mean, I was very fortunate. I mean, I met one of my business partners at Tales. I think my first Tales was in 2007, and I had just moved back to New Orleans, and I couldn't believe, you know, I had heard about Tales, but didn't really think, you know, too much of it. And I was just like, great, another, you know, bar show. And then as I got involved in Tales, I realized that there was a community of people that were doing things that I thought only a few people were doing. And it really showed me on a personal level that this was a career that not only that people take seriously, but that it was a true career that people could build. And that was certainly just starting to take hold at that time. But you know, year over year, that was just proven. It's just been proven to me over and over again. I mean, certainly, you know, the past almost 2 years, that it's, you know, it's hard to, you know, it's hard to justify a career in a business when you can't gather people. But I'm really hopeful that coming out of this, that we're going to be able to start putting the pieces together to move forward as an industry. And, you know, on another level, you know, I think the great thing about Tales and connection and meeting people along the way in this business is that you realize how many like-minded people there are that are passionate about the same things that you are, and you just want to learn from people, you want to forge friendships, and it's, you know, that to me is the magic that makes Tales. And, you know, as we're sitting here trying to do it digitally, and actually saw a question in the chat about this, you know, what is next for Tales? Like, you know, I don't think we can go another year digitally. Like, we really need to be in person. I think, you know, I think not only do we need it as members of the community, but I just think that the industry needs it. I think that it's so hard when we're in our little fiefdoms every day, doing our best to stay afloat, It's hard to remember that we're part of something so much bigger. And I really look forward to us convening next year and kind of creating a new beginning.
I mean, that's really interesting because you both really restructured, innovated in order to keep your establishments open during the pandemic. And it is kind of a new normal. And I think that maybe in 2022, we'll be in a place where we know how to safely travel, how to safely gather, to be in New Orleans for Tales 2022. But I do wonder, you know, what was that drive, or what were the things that really struck you in, I mean, staying open during the pandemic, being able to create space and opportunity for your team to remain a part of your teams during the pandemic. And I know that is a loaded question and you're still trying to deal with it. But I think that it would be great to know. I mean, Neal, you opened how many bars during this pandemic? 3 bars?
Yeah, three bars and restaurants. But I mean, that was not, and you would never plan that. I mean, there were all things that were in process. You know, the money is spent, and you've gotta, you know, you either start defaulting on your loans or you move forward. And that's, you know, it's not, I would never have drawn it up that way. And it's not something, you know, in some ways I'm very proud of it. And I'm certainly proud of Peychaud's, and I'm proud of what we're doing at Dauphines, and I'm really proud of what we're doing at Val's, and I'm excited that we're doing it. But I'm also, you know, I also feel like they've also never really gotten, you know, a fair shot to see what a business can really do when it's, you know, when it's normal circumstances. And so a little sad for all 3 of those businesses for that. But at the same time, there have been some amazing things and amazing systems that are put in place. And, you know, the teams, you know, are just incredible. I mean, the amount of just trauma, I mean, for lack of a better term, trauma that goes into running a hospitality business, working a shift, dealing with people that have very differing views about what's safe, what's not safe, what is appropriate. I mean, that's like, I mean, you see it every day on the news that there is this you know, erosion of appropriate behavior, and it is very difficult for the teams, and it is something that, you know, we just are in survival mode, and it's crazy.
Yeah.
that you know, that we're still in survival mode. And without getting too deep into it, I mean, New Orleans has a 80% vaccination rate, but everything around us doesn't. And so, you know, we've been really affected by Delta, and that's one of the reasons why there really aren't very many live Tales events in New Orleans right now. And you know, throw 18 months of pandemic, then you know, a resurgence of the pandemic here, and then a hurricane, and it's hard for me to have anything left in the tank, but much less, you know, our teams that are out laying it on the line every day. So it's you know, it's a tough time, but I think that we're still optimistic.
Yeah, I mean, you have to have some optimism at the end of the day to keep showing up. I think that it is incredible to be able to provide that atmosphere for your team. Masa, it is really striking that you can say that your same opening team is still a part of Katanika within this 18 months of you know, adapting to this global pandemic. How do you foster you know, mentorship, or an environment that allows for a team to be, I mean, turnover is huge in our industry. So it's really incredible to hear that. What is the, how do you, how do you create that atmosphere?
Well, I think this is like something that, you know, like, yes, this is great that, you know, like we all still here, and then we get to still open Katana Kitten every day after the pandemic. So to be honest, I think it's not just by luck. It's just we did work, you know, and then again, like no one person takes credit for, you know, what we got through, and then like definitely like not me, or like it's just like this is like really like as every single individual did a part to did work and show up to work. And yeah, back in so like New York, so as Neal mentions that every state and every town, I mean, every city, every neighborhood has its own thing, you know, just how people, demographics to how people live, and then lifestyle and everything, all these things. I don't think none of these can just do the same thing but you have to adapt to each own situation, and you got to do whatever you have to do. And well, mentorship is a big word for me, and I don't consider that like I'm mentor to really anyone very specific. I just work together. We work together, and then I get to work together with these amazing people here at Katana Kitten. And yeah, back in New York, so back in 2020, the March 15th, 16th, so that was the was a Monday, was a Sunday, and then Monday they go like, "All right, restaurant needs to shut down," and then it happened. And a couple weeks in, we had to let people go, and my salary stops, and you know, like I got furloughed, and you know, but when we felt right, the end of June, you know, what we could do was the takeout. Great, you know, like a new challenge. And then, you know, first of all, it was just simply excited to come to work, you know.
Yeah.
We came in, and we are in the West Village, so it's on the Hudson Street. We have some like restaurants and already been doing takeout food and in lunch and take our cocktails and doing well. And then the coffee shops, and very unfortunate to see some of our neighbors gone, both business and then both tenants that, like, you know, we made friends like since we opened 3 years ago, and some of neighbors that we didn't get to see each other anymore since, you know, that happened. Probably they moved out to somewhere farther. Anyway, what I was going to say. So it's great. Why we are so here is just really, it's all thanks to the support near and far throughout the pandemic. Imagine like we get to do that little outdoor open, and you know, and then summer 2020 wasn't that hot compared to this summer. We feel hot, and the temperature wise, and also we have this softball team now, and then we play softball. Once we played in like 103 degrees. It was so hot.
Oh my gosh.
Sorry, all over the places. But the 2020 wasn't hot, but it was actually sometimes it was a bit wet, like rainy. But you know, these industry friends, you know, bartenders, and you know, like they weren't working and necessary, but they come by to just say hi and then drinking highball, and then yes, of course, you know, we have to charge you. And you know, but like really these people, right, that they come in for just like one highball, and some people stay and then, you know, hang out and then eat family meal together and then kind of thing. And then rain, when it rains and we couldn't fancy any of those covered structure thing in outside, like no cash. And then we have this like bare tables outside, you know, on the sidewalk, and raining, and I'm just standing there. But like, you know, we had this kind of little tent, you know, outside of it, and it was kind of we have that kind of few people can stand, and other people under umbrella, and then someone like Michael Parrish, you know, like he literally sitting on the chair outside in the rain, drinking Sapporo. in the rain, that kind of these every single one kind of helped us, just really everyday thing, and we are so grateful. And then like all these messages and support from far, and like all these people purchased t-shirt to support us. Just there's no such thing as like a little thing. It's just really all these things, everything really added up. And the 25% capacity came back, and then so on. And wintertime, it was cold, but again, people came back in the support, and stay thirsty, and no, it was it was interesting.
I guess it's
experience.
It's still interesting.
Very grateful. Sure. Yeah, absolutely grateful.
I think that's also really interesting to kind of talk about the side by side of like the people who are very frustrated with the pandemic and don't want to follow the government restrictions with it, and then the people who are just like so supportive and are literally showing up just to show you that they value you, which I imagine helps get through the day or the shift, even when you have the really frustrating moments. I do want to remind everybody at home that you're more than welcome to submit questions in the chat. We are happy to answer them. We will answer them as soon as you roll through, but I'm just going to keep chatting along with Masa and Neal until you send them over to us. I do want to touch on, as we are getting closer to ending this hybrid version of Tales of the Cocktail, we're getting ready for Spirited Awards. Both of you have been personalities at Spirited Awards. Masa, we've seen Katana Kitten at the Spirited Awards. Are you guys ready for this year's show?
I'm ready. That's why I had to move. That's why I had to move out of the sun over there, because I'm in a suit for the Spirited Awards. It's I mean, I really am, and I know that there was some talk about whether the Spirited Awards should happen this year, and I think that it's important even in a reduced way, because there's not so much to celebrate this year, but there's a little bit, and like we really need positivity. And I mean, I can tell you on a personal level, like I need positivity. It helps, it helps me. It's the way I'm wired to kind of think about things, glass half full. But it's so important for us to recognize even just a few people that are really, doing it well, really, persevering, and I couldn't be more excited about it, except for the fact that I have to speak at it tonight.
I think you'll be fine. We're excited to hear from you again. Thank you for speaking with us now. I would like to talk about like that idea of joy and like needing something to celebrate and be festive. As I was saying earlier in the show, Masa, like the number one thing whenever like people talk about you is just the energy and your smile that you're able to bring. People love visiting you for that reason. And it seems that one of the ways that you like bring that joy to yourself is showing up and like being able to do your work for other people, celebrate and create that atmosphere for them. What else do you do to fill your well? Because you're constantly giving it outwardly.
Sorry, what was the question, Danielle?
Like what do you have other creative outlets, or are you a runner? Like what do you do that like allows you to show up to work each day and just be smiling and like ready to create that fun
How do you
atmosphere.
recharge your battery? That's what I want to know that
Yeah.
too.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Oh, thank you. Sorry, thanks, Neil. Absolutely. Well, my family. So my wife, Taryn, she's an artist, and my daughter. So we live in Brooklyn, and my schedule here at Katana Kid. I'm here Tuesday through Friday every week, and
Now we know where to find you.
yeah. So and then of course bars open 7 days a week because we have a team, and then yeah, I come to work and I go home, and by the time both sleeping, sometimes my wife's up, and you see just a sweet sleeping daughter, that you see that, and then you eat something, and then we'll take shower and then eat and go to sleep, and then wake up in the morning. She just started a new pre-K, and
Wow.
we walk her to school, and just that, like really, just itself is the absolutely very charging. It is that's it. That's a drive, and then hopefully we get to go to Japan, see my family. Of course, my in-laws, Taryn's parents, lives in Arizona. I love to see them soon too, but of course, I love to go back to Japan to see my grandma, which is again huge inspiration to me, my family. So yeah, I can't wait to go home, and then that's the family. Yes, and other thing is just really I like to come to work. Really, that's all that and I'm grateful for that. To have that. It's coming to work, and you I don't feel that I'm spending, or I'm just giving out or anything. It just really come to work is also in a sense like it charges me, that like kind of like it gives me energy, and then that absolutely just lucky to have this, and I can make a living, and we can make a living, and just naturally, just a bar, get to see people, get to meet and make new friends too. But really, the Katana Kitten is a place that, like, very, very, very special place, because supported by so many different levels that, from neighbors, direct, patron, really like neighbors, like literally, like she lives upstairs, and he lives down the street, and it comes in and support us, to bartenders, restaurant people come support us, and then it just really just see them and talk, and what we get to make drinks and cooking food, and and just see them, and then that's also the charging to me. The not necessarily working is that kind of part of the like something you have to do. This is, but no, it's really more about, gives me more energy, that come to see staff and get to work with them, and then also see these people. So sometime here and there, I wish I can take a little bit nap, but it's okay. It's okay. I have plenty of time that I can sleep in, and and then we have this softball team, Katana Kittens.
Yeah, tell me more about the softball team.
That's the yes, that's absolutely beautiful thing. East Village Softball Association. So it's a league, and we just finished last month was our first season, spring and summer season, and it's great. It's so healthy, physically, mentally, to get to do something like this, and a very committed activity that get to do with staff and outside of work, and it's just so great. And yeah.
Well, thank you for sharing that. You were talking about Japan too, and I feel like a lot of people know you as this like ambassador of Japanese bartending. And
no, I'm not.
I,
Mm-mm.
you're
Sorry.
not. You wouldn't.
No,
You would.
no, I'm not.
Why not?
Because I don't think so. It's just again the again, this is a happy hour, but I have to be honest with you. Like I just
Absolutely.
I'm not comfortable that like people just kind of like a picture me as like like he's no, I'm just really I just work, come to work. Yes, Katana Kitten is a Japanese American bar, and I happen to be born in Japan, but actually, I don't own that culture. Yes, of course, all the inspiration naturally comes from my childhood and household that my parents cooked and my grandma's cooked, and and then watching really work. The inspiration from I was born in '80s, looking at our grandparents generations, and like lots of inspirations from there. But come to hear that that the work is work, and and this is absolutely amazing. Well, but on the other hand, someone like a Kenta-san, to me, what he does at his bar, like a bar goto, speaking of Japanese culture, that's very, very, I think his approach to all this through his drinks and decor and the details, and like to me is very, very inspiring, and then also eye-opening to that, like very Japanese, that like that it's watching him in the work is a beautiful thing, and then drinks. And also Julia Momose, the Julia Chan, Bar Kumiko in Chicago, which never been to, but I get to see her work through the Instagram, which is amazing and so beautiful. And they're more like, I think the when you say like ambassador, or just someone should like really look up to. Yeah.
Have you met Julia, Mama?
Yes, many times. And she's amazing.
I was just curious because like everyone here is a highball person, like you and Neal both, but also Julia. And I was just wondering if you guys are throwing highball boomerangs at each other. I do, speaking of that, we did have a question come through the chat, and it is, what is your current favorite shift drink?
My favorite shift drinks?
Yeah.
I guess beer. I drink lots of beer, and just shift drink. I guess beer. You don't have to wash glasses. Just.
I like that mindset.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I have a few. If it's after work, I like a Negroni. If it's like if I still have some stuff to do, I'm an Americano guy. And if I'm really want to keep it, keep the glassware down, like Masa said, and I want to just I just want to like hang out, I'll do a beer and a shot of cognac. Those are my three go-tos consistently.
Well, thank you for sharing that with us. We have one more question, and I don't know if we can answer it. Will there be a Tales on Tour as soon as the pandemic calms down?
I can't answer that. I have no idea. I think that we have an appetite to do it, but I think that until travel normalizes in a real way, and until people feel safe doing it, I just don't see how we can do it in the immediate future. I think that we would love to do it, and I think that maybe as we get into that's the thing that you hear constantly, maybe as we get into 22, maybe in 23, like maybe. But I think we as our goal as a foundation is to raise money to give it away, and we can't do things where we lose money, or else we don't get to give money away. And so I think for us, like, we need to make sure that there's a demand, and that people want to go do Tales on Tour, and from there, I think we would do it. And we want to obviously but the most important thing is is it safe, and that's where our minds are at right now.
Where are you guys dreaming of traveling? Not Tail specifically, like you as individuals. You can hop on a plane tomorrow. Where are you going?
I mean, anywhere. Is anywhere an acceptable answer? I mean, I don't know. I mean, I really am like, I'm not choosy right now. I just want to travel. I want to see different things. I want to, I want to be able to go with my daughter and my wife and do different, show my daughter different experiences around the world. And I look forward to that one day. I just don't think that we're quite there. I'm sure Masa can relate. There's a whole different level of stress with the pandemic and children. And so, I have plenty of friends that are, vaccinated and are traveling a lot. And, when you have a child at home, you really have to be even more careful. And so because of that, we're just not traveling the way that we would like. I mean, we have had some forced travel from the hurricane to the beautiful beaches of the Florida Gulf Coast. But that was not I wouldn't call that real vacation.
Yeah, I can understand that myself. I evacuated to Montauk and I still didn't think that was a vacation, even though it's a vacation destination. Masa, you were talking about going to Japan. Would that be the place if you could hop in a plane right now, bring the family, see your family there?
Yeah, 100%. Nowhere else, like if I can go anywhere, yes, 100% Japan. I want to go home and see family. My daughter, my wife, they need to see family. Yeah, we really miss Japan, and I don't think anyone else, think of I want to go. I just want to go home.
Well, sooner than later, we're going to realize that we can't travel. And I do really appreciate you guys sharing those dreams with us, where you're dreaming of landing. Well, I do want to, thank you both for being here. I'd love to offer you guys some time to have some final words for the industry before we cheers and sign off for today. So Masa, do you have anything that you want to leave the industry with before we say goodbye?
Yes. Two things. Two things. Which one should I say first? So one, thanks to Katana Kitten and thanks to Hannah Lee and Michael Anstanding. So this is a book. We got to launch this and came out on June 1st. The Japanese Art of the Cocktail. So this is co-authored by Michael Anstanding. And yes, managed by Hannah Lee Communications and Hannah. So I think it's a great book, and because of the community, because of the just the way this bar industry, and then just how inspiring and supportive and giving is. That's like a nature of it, and then thanks to so many people to thank for. But this is a book. Yeah, I want to say thank you so much to so many people to who helped us to make this happen, and thanks grateful for Michael and Hannah, and beyond all these contributed bartenders as well in the book. To wrap up, yeah, it's just it's a great bar. We still get to do this, and yes, pandemic, yes, but so many things to be careful with, but just still bars open, restaurants open, and we get to serve people, and we get to see friends the bartenders friends, and like something like, so yesterday I see a case of tequila box shows up, and I ask them like, who sent us, and then what is this for? It was from Chris. It was from Chris Fatino, and then I was like, hey, like, what's this for? And he goes like, he goes to drink. So just just like just support to like friends and family. So and I've really felt that yes, this is a Tails happy hour, but regardless of the Tails and just bartending and work in general, this is everyday thing. This is what we do, and come to work and get to meet people. But it was absolutely very touching and very sweet gesture from Chris that so yes, we're gonna share this beautiful tequila with friends and family. But really thanks to everyone who makes this industry as it is, and but yeah, from me, it's just really so much respect and gratitude to Tales of Cocktails, and just work and then bars and restaurants and bars and restaurants and people, mentors. Man, it's all over the place. Sorry, but thank you so much.
How is Neal? Thank you.
Yeah.
I was like,
no,
how is Neal
thank
going
you.
to be able to follow this up?
Yeah, it's a pretty tough act to follow. I guess my message is just that I hope everybody stays positive, and that we just really keep going after it, and that we don't lose too many people in the business because they burn out. And I really I've heard Masa say it a few times, and I think if we focus on our gratitude, I don't think over the past 18 months, 2 years, that I've ever been more grateful to our industry, to our community, and as hard as it is, I think if we all can focus on gratitude and trying to remember why we love what we do, that it's hopefully going to be the best way for all of us to make it through to the other side, and so that we can all get back together and celebrate our survival soon enough. And yeah, I mean, I think I just, on a personal level, I just want to thank the Tails team for who's, pivoted, the most overused word in the past 2 years, pivoted constantly to keep doing this, from in-person to hybrid to digital. It's crazy. But I also want to thank my teams and my family. Our teams at Cure and Cane and Table and Val's and Peychaud's and Duffines, like, they just don't know what they're going to get every day. And I just have a tremendous amount of respect and gratitude for them. And in my family, I remember, Masa touched on this again, like on March 16th, going home to my wife and being like, I don't know how we're going to pay the rent, and I don't know how we're going to pay our mortgage. And it's been tough for everybody. And I guess my parting message is just, everybody hang in there, everybody try and stay positive. I really feel like we're getting to a better place really soon.
Well, on that note of gratitude, I want to thank you both for offering yourselves for this meeting. I want to thank Q Mixers for getting us all together and encouraging us to meet at Tails 2021. And I hope to see you both in person very soon. Well, Neal, you're right there, but Masa, I really hope to come see you at Katanika very soon.
Yeah, very excited to have you both. very, very soon.
Thank you. All right, and all of you at home, thank you so much for joining us at Q Mixer's Mix Up Tales Happy Hour. Have a wonderful evening.
Bye, everybody.